The Maze of Choices, a story about decision-making and cognitive biases. Have you ever looked back at a decision and wondered, what was I thinking? In this episode of The Mind's Blueprint, we dive into the fascinating and often flawed world of how our minds make choices, revealing the hidden shortcuts and biases that shape our every move. Dr. Eleanor Vance was a renowned economist, famous for her ability to predict market trends with astonishing accuracy. Yet, in her personal life, her decisions were often bafflingly irrational. She bought a high-priced car she didn't need, clung to a failing investment long past its prime, and always seemed to choose the restaurant with the flashiest sign, only to be disappointed by the food. She could explain the intricate economics of a global market, but she couldn't explain why she kept making poor choices for herself. Her frustration grew with a new project, advising a small, innovative startup on a critical investment. The startup's founders, a young, passionate team, presented a solid business plan. But Dr. Vance found herself inexplicably drawn to a flashier, riskier, but ultimately less sound competitor. It was like an invisible force was pulling her, overriding her decades of logical training. She felt a nagging doubt, a sense that something was distorting her judgment, but she couldn't pinpoint what. One evening, while reviewing the startup's proposal, she stumbled upon an old, forgotten diary belonging to her former psychology professor, Dr. Julian Thorne. Dr. Thorne had dedicated his life to understanding the invisible hand that guided human choices, documenting the mind's shortcuts. Reading his notes, a revelation began to unfold. If you've ever second-guessed a big decision, or wondered why you repeat the same mistakes, hit that subscribe button to discover more about your mind's hidden blueprint. Dr. Thorne's diary detailed what he called the mind's lenses, cognitive biases that subtly distort our perception of reality. Eleanor recognized herself in his descriptions. Confirmation bias, her tendency to seek out and interpret information that confirmed her existing beliefs. She had always been drawn to bold, high-risk ventures, so she subconsciously looked for data that supported the flashy competitor, ignoring the solid data for the safer startup. Sunk cost fallacy, her unwillingness to abandon the failing investment, simply because she had already invested so much time and money. Her mind told her to stick with it, even when logic screamed to cut losses. Anchoring bias. Her car purchase. The salesman had started with an outrageously high price for a top-tier model, making the slightly less expensive but still overpriced car seem like a deal by comparison. The more she read, the more she saw these biases at play in her own decisions, like invisible strings pulling her away from true rationality. The flashy competitor, she realized, was benefiting from the availability heuristic. It had more recent attention-grabbing headlines, making it seem more important than the quieter, more stable startup. Armed with this newfound understanding, Eleanor approached the startup investment decision differently. She forced herself to seek out counter-evidence for her initial leanings. She actively looked for reasons not to invest in the flashy company and strong arguments for the innovative startup. She brought in external, unbiased consultants to review the data, actively questioning her gut feelings. The decision was still challenging, but this time it was informed. She recommended the innovative startup, and within months, it began to thrive. Eleanor, too, began to make changes in her personal life. She sold the failing investment, choosing logic over past commitment. She learned to pause before impulse purchases, recognizing the anchor being set. Eleanor discovered that while our brains are wired for shortcuts, we are not slaves to them. By understanding the mind's lenses, these cognitive biases, we gain the power to consciously choose a clearer path, to see beyond the initial glares and shadows, and to truly build our own blueprints for better decisions. Every choice is a step. With the mind's blueprint for decision-making, you can choose wisely, deliberately, and with the clarity to build the life you truly desire. Join us next time to uncover more of the mind's blueprint. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insights into the human mind.